Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
The Fullyposeable.
Have your own WrestleMania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling figure.
Each sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hey, welcome to episode 442 of the Fullyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, longest running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today. My name is Jeff, and sitting alongside next to me is my real life brother, not storyline brother, Scott. Scott, say hello.
Hello.
And Scott, this week for the Summer of Saying Do Love, we don't have one hunk of man meat. We've got two hunk of man meats, plural, with an S.
And you're not talking about us.
No, not anymore. We're getting trumped by the two sitting across from us, but this is Keith Baraukus and Rad Chad. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great, man. Great. Happy to be here, man. Happy to see y'all again, man.
I know. It's been too long. It's been a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're doing good, boys. Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What's been going on in your world since we last talked to you?
I mean, I get to beat up people on the weekends, you know.
Okay. That's fun.
Buy a couple of figures here and there, you know.
That's a good life.
Last time I talked, I think I was getting ready to move into the house. And now
you sure were.
Moved in and got the little wrestling cave down here set up. Pretty cool, you know.
Nice.
Maybe I'll send y'all some pictures so y'all can post it.
All right.
Post it up, you know. Hell.
Yeah, send them on over our way.
Some traffic, you know, whatever.
And Rad Chad, in the last 2 years, you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you've completed all of your Hasbros.
That's correct. I'm technically not 100% complete. Like, I don't have like the blue card, white pants Sean, for example.
Okay.
Like every single figure, but I don't have like the re-releases mint on card. But yes, I finally got the white whale Dusty about a year ago.
So if you don't mind, how did you get it?
So there's the Facebook boards. I made a few friends on there, and there was one guy who was pretty active on several of the groups. Him and I were just talking, and I kind of let him know, like, hey, I'm down to Dusty if it gets to it. And I knew that he was always, you know, buying and selling and whatnot, and he kind of hit me up, and we made a deal, and the rest is history. So I felt pretty secure about it because I felt like at that point I kind of had known him without ever meeting him, even though because we communicated for years. But yeah, it was pretty awesome, pretty good feeling, pretty nervous mail day.
Congrats, dude. That's great.
How was the card on it?
Card was real good. It does have the infamous or famous little hairline crack along the boot there. Mm-hmm. But you really can't tell the naked eye. You really got to look for it. And knowing that is extremely common with that figure, I was comfortable enough to make the purchase. The bubble's not yellowed. The card has no creasing. So besides that blemish that is pretty known, it's in pretty good condition.
See, guys, that's why you take everything you get and put it into totes. That's exactly the reason why.
And about 95% of my collection is in totes.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So, Keith, have you actually been able to hold the Dusty, the rare Dusty?
Did I see it?
Yeah, you came over.
I think I did see it. It's in a glass. What you got in, like a glass?
I bought those real nice acrylic cases for it. It's not in the normal ringside Defender.
It spins in his living room, and it's like this is hollow light that comes on it.
It's like Excalibur.
Look at it and you're like, hey. Then, like, when you do it, you grab and this opera music starts playing and stuff. Like, really, that's what I felt. I mean, no,
the
but
angels
it was cool.
sing.
It was cool holding it because I don't remember even as a kid holding it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I got it back when I was in high school from like a flea market or something, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I didn't have that one as a kid. So it was really cool seeing him have it, you know.
Scott, welcome back from Vegas, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I brought the heat back with me.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks for.
Yeah, it was 120 in Vegas when I was there.
Oh, that's
and
it.
I think today here in Tracy, it feels like 110. Ooh. Yeah, it's sick. I hate it so much. It's disgusting, and I don't like it.
So were you just bouncing between casino?
No, not at all. Because we were there for Dance Comp or Dance Nationals.
Oh, how'd you do, by the way?
How did I do?
Yeah.
They don't let me compete. It's not fair to everybody else.
Oh.
It tips the scales too far in my favor, so they don't let me on stage. I'm lucky to even get in the doors, to be honest with you. But we were in the Westgate Hotel for the event, and we're in there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was. So you're in climate control. It's like 65, 70 degrees tops, really comfortable. And then as soon as you walk outside, it's like you're walking right into an oven. It is the grossest thing. And of course, our car, black interior, leather. So you get in and it's just like you're being branded. You know, it's just, it sucks so bad. And then you have to grab the steering wheel. And I feel like the guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark when he has the thing in his palm and it's just like, it sucks so much, dude. So yeah, I'm over summer already. So over it.
Buddy. I'm with you.
I hate it.
I don't know, man. I like summer. I don't mind it being warm outside, but I do enjoy that spring. Right at the beginning of spring, right at the beginning of fall, where it's still summer, but it's like 65, 75 during the day.
It's comfy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's comfy. I like
hoodie
that.
and shorts. That's what I like being.
Yeah, bingo. That's it right there. Yeah. Not like tank top and shorts and immediate swamp rot down below. I hate it so much. I mean, I could deal with 90s, but when it starts to get into the hundreds, the 100 and teens, I'm out. Like, nope, put me in a swimming pool or climate control. I don't want any part of it.
So, Rad Chad, do you have any plugs, by the way? Anything you want to plug?
Not really. I will say, I'll save it for the main event, the nostalgia segment. The one plug I have, I'll just kind of drop it there.
Timing is everything.
Okay, even I don't know about this. And Keith, want to promote some of the matches you got coming up?
My only no, I'm just playing.
You cannot promote that here. What's the at handle?
Keep going. We'll edit this part out, but just for you know.
Yeah. This can't be on here.
What's big Baraukus?
That's actually pretty good, dude.
No, my Twitter, Baraukus on Twitter, and then Big Keith 86 on Instagram, Keith Baraukus Johnson on Facebook. You know, just all those plugs. Check me out. You know, and I'm a pretty friendly guy for the most part. You know,
except when you're playing a heel.
Yeah, exactly. Playing.
Sorry, kayfabe, brother, kayfabe it. By the way, you were holding a title that was similar to the Intercontinental title just recently. Which promotion was that for?
That's for Pro Wrestling Epic here in Illinois, and it was the Powerhouse Championship.
That's right.
Championship is like, that fits me perfect, you know.
Nice.
Held it for like almost a year. They got jumped, and you know how it is normally. They beat me up like the Undertaker, and then I levitated and disappeared for 6 months. I held it for a while, but yeah, it definitely gave me nostalgia feels holding that belt. I felt like I was Bret Hart in '91 or something, or you know, that whole entire era. You know, Macho Man, whoever you want. But yeah, that was one of the coolest belts I've held. You know. And it's funny, great. The other one I was a tag champ with was the old school tag team titles.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, they took the design and kind of made it like that, you know.
The WWF tag titles?
The WW, the one that everybody loves. You know,
yeah.
The Bulldogs, Heart Foundation, all those belts.
Was it tarnished also?
No, it wasn't tarnished. It was kind of, yeah, it was tarnished. And they had a red strap on it, so it was kind of cool. You
nice.
know?
Oh.
Nice, man. Nice. You guys know where to get all of our stuff. You know where to email us, fullyposeablewfp@gmail.com. All right, Keith, I'm going to ask you, have you picked up anything recently?
Oh, God. Yeah. Actually, I have. Do we have it down here? I think we left it upstairs. I actually got the fake diesel. So we found the shipper.
Excellent.
So we found it last week. I was able to score a couple of my buddies, pretty much everybody. We found the whole shipper. I kept the fake diesel for myself, you know. Other than that, really nothing has. I got the Road Warriors a couple of weeks ago. We got that. Just got the British Bulldogs. Finally got my British Bulldogs coming in from Major Bendy's.
The big rubber guys.
Big rubber guys. Yeah. Have you gotten yours yet?
I did, and they're good. The Dynamite Kid's eyes are a little messed up on mine.
Like Robert Gibson?
Not that bad. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
But it's they're good overall. There's some fine tweaking that just needs to be done. But overall, the sculpt is good. Oh, now your eyes look better than.
I really like that, dude.
Oh, dude, it's really good. Like, it's really good. It's just.
I even got the cut back. I just now kind of like, you know how his back was like really ripped like that?
That's what my back looks like. But anyways. If I was
beefcake.
Yes. So cool thing is with them, you know, and that's
so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we visual? We're not a visual podcast.
We're not visual, but I could take pictures of it.
Yeah, like you can see how cool. Like you can hold it. So let me show you this though. This is kind of cool. And I love these, by the way. The major bendies, top notch, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're knocking it out of the park.
So you could do it with Matilda could be held by either person.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like you can do Dynamite or Davey can hold her. So but I like them, man. I think they look great. Like I was telling you, Jeff, though, I kind of want the baby blue ones. So once I get those, or that I see that they're on the second market, I might buy these and I might trade these off or sell them or something.
There you go.
You know, but just because I think because I got the other ones over there, the old school ones that you guys had and you know, for your kids, but like I think the baby blue ones just look a little. That's the one I think of the British Bulldogs, the tag team run and everything. But this is kind of like 88 Bulldogs, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Davey's hair is a little longer. This is like WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4, Jeff.
Yep. One of the worst WrestleManias ever. Don't at me.
How dare you? I'll be silenced.
Rad Chad, are you in on those?
So I'm not. I think they're fabulous. Part of my collection's all nostalgia, like base. That's like the driver. And L-Jans were just a little before my time, and I didn't have any buddies who owned any of them. And then even like going into the smaller scale with like the bendies, the major bendies, those really don't move the needle for me either, only because I kind of got out of wrestling figure collecting and collecting in general for a while. So the rubber scene kind of was before and after.
Okay.
Got it.
If you will. But I think they're incredible. Like I was just telling Keith, and I know we're going to talk about some news later. There's a lot of them that are really tempting me.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, once you get one,
and that's what he said. And I was like, I'm not going to go down that route because I know what that'll do for me.
It's really hard not to. It's that slippery slope we always talk about. Like once you get a couple, now all of a sudden you're in the game and that's it. You can't do anything about it. You're just sucked in at that point.
And Scott, I feel like I relate to what you say a lot on the podcast because like Macho Man, for example, like I do have the original L-Jan Macho that was just gifted to me by a friend. I have all the Hasbros. I have the Elites, the Ultimates, the Basics, the Micro Brawlers. I have like the Mystery Mini. It's like how many, I have a Slim Jim holder. It's like how many different Machos do I need? And of course, the answer is all of them. But
all of them. I was going to say, so that's your collect all
Macho,
name.
that opens the door to, well, let me go back and get Andre. Let me go get the Bulldogs. Let me go get Demolition.
Yes.
I know myself too much. I'm just going to stay out and just appreciate from afar.
That's the safer play. Yeah.
Probably the smartest thing because it's like now I even feel it. And it's only someone that we all have. Everything's so expensive now and everything. And I mean, unfortunately, you got to think major bendies. So, like, if they release the Road Warriors, that's $100 right there. You got to get them because it's a pre-order, right?
They got me.
Like, they got me because of the pre-order. You're like the urgency where you have to get them now. And you know how the secondary market is. They go high.
Exactly.
But it's some stuff from ringside that I just haven't. I need to go back and get. Like, you know, but it's like sometimes, like, these other companies, because they're so limited right now, you're like, well, damn, I need to get this right now because it's limited, you know,
right?
Where I know hopefully this ringside, like I still need to get the what is it? The greatest hits Kane.
Oh, yeah.
2001. I still need to go back and get that. I still need to go back and get the Nitro ring, just like I have the Ultimate Edition Bischoff. There's a lot of things over the last couple of months, but my money's been tied up in a lot of the like Zombie did his drop, and that's another thing I bought. I bought the
Sandman,
Heels and Faces. Yeah, I got Power and Glory. Slick.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
One Man Gang because Chad just put it over so hard that I needed it. So it's gonna go over there. And what was the other one? Power and Glory, Slick,
Jack Tunney.
I didn't get Jack Tunney. So those are the 4 I got. I did not get Jack Tunney. If I catch it, that's one of those. If I catch it down the line, if it's still there, I'll get it.
That Sandman actually from the 4th of July actually sold out in like 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Holy crap. Wow.
You can say what you want about Zombie, man. Like, he's an interesting cat, a lot of people think, but like, dude's figures,
his products are top notch. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot.
It's one of those figures, and I've said it before, are scary good.
Yeah, they are.
Like, we've said it before, where Mitch Hasseltoys, his is kind of like a continuation of what Hasbro's would have looked like.
Correct.
Zombies is scary, lifelike.
Yeah.
And it's like so good. It's like Mattel should be doing what Zombies doing.
It's almost to me like if Hasbro had the technology then that exists today, what Hasbro's might look like then.
Right,
yeah,
right,
right. Good point. Yeah.
And we got the Hasbro case in front of us. You know, like, I'm looking at the Hasbros, like, they did a great job back then. You know what I mean? On what they look like and everything. But to kind of put over Mitch too. So I think Mitch it is taking a weird turn. Like, for the longest when y'all used to say that, like, Mitch just looked more like Hasbro's and Zombie. And I was like, I don't know. I got a couple of zombies, like Dino Bravo fits very great on that shelf. Like,
touche. That's actually true.
I'm looking at the Andre #2 where he's in the blue strap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got him on that shelf, and it looks like he fits in that shelf. But I will say the new prototypes of the ECW guys, even like Power and Glory and all them, it is taking a weird turn in the retro game where I think Mitch's really do look like continuations of Hasbro's, like his Canadians, the Quebecers, the Rougeaus, because they have the poles, and like, that's the next thing I'll probably buy is them, the Canadians, honestly. But like, I think it's taking a turn because they're looking more cartoonish, and they are it's not even so much cartoonish, it's colorful. I think that's the word. Yeah. That's the word with Hasbro's. You know?
When I was referring to Zombies as like scary lifelike, I was thinking like Ahmed Johnson. When you compare his Ahmed Johnson to Mitch's, it's like, that's lifelike. Mitch's looks like a continuation of Hasbro. Also go to his Johnny Gargano that came out. His Johnny Gargano is scary good.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I could not even fathom Hasbro doing that back in 1994 or 95.
Yeah.
So
some people are doing with like some of the zombies, like with their lips. Have you seen this?
No.
Like, so he mentioned Dino Bravo. He's got kind of like the purple hue around his lips.
Yes.
And people are removing that, essentially making it like a nude color. Like, and wow, it makes a huge difference. I'll send you some pictures to check it out. It's something you just never think about. And it's becoming like a big thing in the customizing game.
Interesting. Are they doing like Wallace and Gromit mouth where they'll just have like different? No, nothing like that. All right.
No, nothing like that. And you don't need to worry about it, Jeff, because it involves opening the figure, which
So
take
that
pictures.
cannot happen.
Take pictures, throw it right in the tote.
Which I see those beauties behind you, Scott.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a few open up there.
Yeah,
I'm in the opening game now.
It's like, man, you can't have it and not. I mean, if I did not open up this basement, geez, how many, like, I would have to buy extra.
Did I accidentally mute Keith?
Everybody's muted, but Jeff, it's so weird.
Look at that. How did that happen?
Having I'm with you, man. If I have the option, I tried it, man, but it was taking up too much space, and I'm like, nah.
Yes,
Scott, when you were opening up your figures, like, I know you mentioned in text message that you were just kind of like admiring the figures.
Yeah, it gives you a new appreciation for it, right? So I would say now I'm about 80-20 open to keep MOC. And really the only reason I keep them MOC is if I'm going to get them signed, or if it's just one of those that I think I'm going to hand down to the kids one day. But I'm really enjoying opening them because I've been MOC for so long. And now that I'm kind of filling up the Detolf and putting the figures on risers, and I'm getting to hold the figures, and I get a whole new appreciation for them. It's like being a kid again and opening up my LJNs or my Hasbros or my Remcos and being like, this is awesome. You know, and like opening the CM Punk Supreme and changing his hands out, changing the heads, the legs, whatever.
Okay, stop. I'm muting you.
Yeah.
Stop it right now.
You're playing. That's how we don't physically, how you guys used to sit Indian style in the living room with your LJN ring.
Yep.
You don't, as an adult, play with your figures like that. I mean, you might. I mean, and if you do, I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah. Well, I can't sit Indian style anymore. So
yeah, exactly. I'm not here to judge you. But like most of us is you put them next to somebody and you organize them and you reorganize your man cave and you put them next to somebody, or you do it, you pose them a certain kind of way. Like I got Gorilla Monsoon and Ali over there in the airplane spin on my shelf.
Nice.
It looks awesome. Like, you know, it's just that's how we play with them now, you know, and stuff like that. So I think that gives me joy when I'm able to open it, hold it, put it on there, and I rearrange my shelves, put certain ones forward, some of them back, like different things like that. So
that's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do. If the wrestler has passed away, should I open them or should I just keep them MOC for later on in life or whatnot? I don't know. Like Davey and Dynamite's a perfect example. I want to open them.
But you can though, right? Because you can put it right back in the package and kind of it's got the slide down back
with the big rubber guy, because they don't have a
good point.
It's
good
not
point.
like a seal on it.
A good point.
So it's not like that where you can open them and if you hold them, feel them. Because the key thing about this is if you even look at these figures, if you look at them just like, okay, they look cool, but when you hold them and you feel it feels like a LJN, and especially for y'all era. Because this is y'all's era more so.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%. Yep.
So,
he called y'all old.
No, he's right.
Fits.
I mean, you know, we were born in 86, you know, we're the youngsters and stuff like that.
Oh, man. By the way, Scott was 12 when you guys were born. So anyways.
Yeah. And I'll never forget, like, just speaking about LJNs real quick, getting that humongous box from New York when we got the black cards and some of the blue cards, the series we couldn't find at Toys R Us, and getting the Heart Foundation and Strike Force and Ultimate Warrior and Big Bob all in one shot. That was like playtime. Playtime took a whole new turn at that point. And like, I couldn't wait for Jeff to get home and was like, dude, we got to open these as soon as you get home from school. Like, this is gonna be crazy. And it was just match time was just so much fun. But that goes back to kind of what we were talking about opening or keeping them MOC. It kind of takes you back to holding those figures again and being able to pose them a certain way or doing some sort of move like an airplane spin, you know, and I kind of put them, you know, I'll pose them on the, like Randy Orton, I'll put his arms up, you know, and I'll have them displayed on a riser. And that's fun for me. Like that kind of takes me back to my childhood, but in my 50s where I'm not going to be able to sit Indian style in front of a ring and play with them because my family would look at me weird and probably have me institutionalized. But, you know, it's fun to pose them and get that appreciation for them again. I really like that.
I won't judge you, man. So real question here, and you could take this out. How long did you play with figures? Because I know Jeff and you guys have a nice age gap between you. Like, how long did you really? Because it was different at a time. Like, I mean, even when we were kids, I mean, I had Jacks all the way up until I was almost in 7th and 8th grade, you know, and still played with them, you know.
Yep.
How old were you when you really was like, this ain't it?
It was, for me, it was probably 10th grade where I was like, okay, I'm not going to really play with them, but I'm collecting them because I still love them.
Yeah.
But there was that part of me that was like, I wish everybody would leave the house for a little bit so I could just maybe have a quick match and nobody would judge me. And like, I'm not going to get any phone calls from friends and they're going to hear me slamming the figures in the back or whatever. But it was about 10th grade when I really started to phase out. And it was more collecting at that point. With G.I. Joes, it was probably like 6th, 7th grade. I stopped playing with them and I started collecting them more. I would still open them up, but I wouldn't really play with them. But wrestling figures all the way up until about 10th grade. And then when it came to the Hasbros, Jeff was more playing with them. And at that point, I was almost just full on collecting.
Because I know with Jax, I collected I remember like, because Jax is like fresh, you know, I'm a teenage, pretty preteen and stuff like that. I used to run the Toys R Us, get them. I was playing with the New Age Outlaws and stuff like that. And I think that was the age where the self-consciousness of it came in. Like, okay, if these people come in, I need to put these in the closet.
Yes, exactly.
One of my boys, huge basketball player guy, comes over. We're hanging out, I guess, after school one day in high school. And he goes in my closet. He's like, man, you got wrestling figures? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he you know, I'm thinking like he's about to roast me. And I'm like, man, yeah, man, that's my collection, man. And I had them all in there. Man, I went downstairs, heated up something. This dude is sitting in the room playing with him. Like,
I love it.
Everybody has that inner kid in them. It's just how you bring it out sometimes.
You sounded like Terrell Owens there. You're all, man, that's my quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, Scott, I take it you did not go hit up any Targets or Walmarts in Vegas.
I did not, but I still did purchase those Road Warriors, the Nerds Clothing ones, the Matt Maniacs.
We'll talk about that in the whatchamacallit news.
Yeah, but, I passed on the Steiners, but I did pick up the Road Warriors. I think they were like 70, what was it, 75? Something like that after shipping, whatever. Totally worth it. It's one of those like Rad Chad with you with Macho Man.
Yep.
It's like, how many Road Warriors figures do I need? The answer is all of them. And that's just what I had to get. The big rubber guys. I had to get these. I bought the Asylums. You can see them right over my shoulder here. I've got to have the Road Warriors, dude. It's just what it is. It's them. It's Hogan to an extent. It's definitely Ultimate Warrior, and it's Macho Man. Like, those are the names I will go out of my way to collect.
All four of those I agree with. Like, it's pretty much I have the blue Mattel ones, and I'm kind of I guess that was like 95, 96 WCW.
Yes.
And they came back for that brief 2 or 3 week period. And I've contemplated on selling them a couple of times. I just can't. It's like, even though it was a very short period on Nitro that they wore those blue shoulder pads, I just can't sell them like that because they were my favorite tag team as a kid, right next to the Steiners. Like,
how could they not be?
One day of the week, so.
Well, and Scott, I'm kind of contradicting what I said a little bit earlier, but it's kind of a good move for you to pick them up because because they're a new like figure line. So if you really like them and you like how they feel and look, and a Hogan does come out, for example, that gives you the confidence to pull that trigger versus maybe buying Hogan and then having to get the Road Warriors for double the money down the, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So especially with it being a new line, it's kind of a safe play.
Yeah.
To get them. So.
And the figures are just awesome looking because the cartoon, they're so unique and they're cartoony.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's different from the rest of the Hasbro companies out there.
Agreed.
I'll be honest though, I don't dig the Scott Steiner.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll actually give you that, but still had to purchase both of them.
The rest of them are great. It's just they missed for me on Scott. And if they had they done a little bit better job on the face sculpt, I think I might have actually been in on the Steiners. But being that they missed it, made it an easy decision. So I was like, thanks, guys. That saved me $75. But I had to get the Road Warriors.
That's tough to do, too. Like, Mattel nailed it. Like, if y'all want to go back and talk about the blockbuster announcement, I text Jeff immediately as soon as I saw it. Like, I was I text everybody who I knew who loved figures. Like, they nailed that head, and that's a tough one to do. Because you remember the TNA prototype that came out for that was supposed to go in the Legend of the Ring, and it was supposed to be, they didn't nail that, Hasbro one is kind of skeptical a little bit, where they could have did a little bit of a better job. Now Galoob killed it.
Galoob nailed it. Yeah, in 1991, Galoob killed it.
Galoob crushed them all.
Yeah.
Yes,
they did. They did.
One of my favorites is Barry Windham with the ponytail and
and the perfect pose.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that Barry Windham Galoob. That's actually a really underrated figure that not many people talk about as one of the better figures.
Knee pads. That's the only thing I would say with it.
That.
Barry Windham never. And the analysis, I'm going back. So it's cool now when I go back, like I told y'all, and I'm watching these old episodes and actually watching it in real time. You can see a lot of stuff now, and you actually see the Galoob line when it was early 1990 and late 89. And if you go back and watch them episodes, you can actually see when Barry Windham come back, he did wear that outfit a couple of times with no knee pads. And I was like, gosh darn it. That's the day they took the picture.
That was picture day. Yep.
That was the day. They told Barry to come over and take a okay. He took his picture real fast. And
all right, Barry, pass along. All right, let's get Doom in their sweatpants.
Let's go get those guys in the sweatpants and sneakers over there,
man.
They were surprised they didn't give him a fanny pack too.
Oh man, what would be great is if Steve Ozer, because he's a fan like we are, right? How great would it be if they finally gave us Doom and the Legends lines and the chase are them in their sweats?
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Amazing.
I would just be like, okay, Steve
Printing
loves
money.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what we were talking about last week. Jimmy Garvin's card just dropped in
Yes.
Panini.
Yes.
So,
Oh, that's money right there. Like we
Oh.
need.
Agree.
I told my boy that the other day we were talking. I was like, Jimmy Garvin has a card out now, and that's like, I mean, there's so many options with that. We can get Pans Jimmy Garvin. We can
Yes.
get NWA. I think Pans Jimmy Garvin is the layup, and then you could go back
Agree.
and get NWA Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. But like,
mhm.
I think you're gonna start seeing more and more of them guys. Like, I really, really believe the Legends line, just because like the way things are going now with WWE in general, I think you're just gonna start seeing more of those like characters like that.
Well, it makes sense because who's running the toy show right now? It's us.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
guys in our age range. We're dictating what's being bought at market,
Yeah.
and we're sitting here talking about Golden Era.
Right.
Right. So it makes sense that that's who they're going to market to. We want Golden Era stuff. So yeah, you're right, Keith, 100%.
Yeah,
We're going to start getting those names.
Rad Chad, are you going back and collecting NWA? Because I know that you also were collecting just Golden Era or New Gen. You were
Yeah.
kind of in that time frame. Were you going in and collecting NWA as well?
Yeah.
There too.
Yeah. So yeah, I pretty much collect anything from about 85 to 2002. Like,
Okay, so you did go into Attitude Era.
wow.
I went into
Okay.
Attitude and dipped into Ruthless a little bit. My wheelhouse is obviously WWF, like Golden Era.
Right.
But, I do have like I have the Legends Series 1 Road Warriors Elites.
Mhm.
I have like various different WCW and NWA figures. So
Okay.
I do have a lot of nostalgia for that era.
Oh yeah. I think we all do, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
Could we go back to the Steiners real quick? How big of a deal was them not having the tag titles for you guys?
I guess for me, like being a collector, like I say, I'm a collector a long time when I'm talking to you three, but being a collector for the years I have, it's not huge because I'm opening them and I have a plethora of tag team titles.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
But I would say if I was newer to the game or if I was a mint on card collector like yourself, Jeff, I think that might be a little bit of a knock toward them.
Mhm.
So this is also another thing too with me watching old wrestling. Okay, so technically this is a bombshell for y'all. Those are technically what you would call WWF Steiner brothers, right? Everybody has kind of said that, right? They
Yep.
could technically be used also for NWA
WA. Yep.
1992 Steiners because the gear they wore a lot in WWF was also worn that year when they were facing the new Miracle Violence Connection and
Yeah,
all that
Gordy
type
Williams,
of stuff.
yep.
Like if you go back and watch, like I think it's even like Beach Blast 92. Scott, I think, wore that WF Hasbro figure gear in that match, I want to say.
Oh,
Mm.
So
okay.
the logic out, getting back to my point and to answer your question, maybe they did that because now you can pick which ones you want to use. Like maybe you can put the WCW tag titles on it. Maybe you can put,
Yeah.
and it's an ultimate edition too. It's going to be on the side of the packet. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they've released those titles so many times. We're about to get them with the Outsiders, the WCW version. I mean, most people have a million WWF tag team titles. So like,
True.
When you're going through the timeline on WCW, please fact check me because I'm trying to figure out when the tag title switched from the NWA to WCW. I thought it was the Hollywood Blondes. They were staggering them.
Yeah, 91. And I was going to send you that text message because I listened to the episode last week. So it's 91. It was, you had it right. One of y'all had it right. It was Savisco and Arn Anderson. Were the first ones
that was you,
had it.
Jeff.
Okay.
So it was but your timeline was off. It was 91. It was the fall of 91 because they still had the NWA tag titles all the way up until probably right before they dropped it to Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat.
Okay.
And then so that set of tag titles went all the way into the Outsiders.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because the belt, I think it was the Steiner brothers when they had that feud, and then the Outsiders had the. I hate those tag titles, the ones where they got really small.
They got so small on. I mean, Hall and Nash looked like they were carrying the toy titles that were like you buy at Toys R Us, you know.
I was watching an episode of Nitro the other day. I'm like, God, I hate those belts. Like, I had to buy them when the Undertaker had two of them, but I'm like, man, I don't like those belts. Like, and I'm pretty sure any other listener could tell. I think that's exactly because they had the NWA, the ones that Doom wore. Everybody had it. And then they had those for a while, and then they switched it to the WCW, and then they had those until like 96 or so. Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, Chad. We're nerding out about belts, dude.
Oh no, I'm in for it.
Yeah.
No, it's just I was thinking about it. I was trying to remember because I thought I saw Austin and Pillman wearing one of each, one NWA tag and then one WCW tag in certain episodes.
So they brought back, remember too, they did they had that weird period where they had the NWA in 92.
Yes.
Like Macho Chono was the NWA champion.
Yeah,
That's right.
I want to say Steamboat and Shea Douglas unified the tag titles.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
So you probably aren't too far off there.
Okay.
Might be some like where they were wearing those NWA titles in like 93 for a second, a little bit. But they pretty much, once that partnership with the NWA fell out and then it became the international tag titles, after that, it was probably it was always the WCW tag titles after that. The ones Harlem Heat, Nasty Boys, all them, you know.
By the way, Scott, I got a big bad toy box. I got some Street Fighter figures in.
Nice. Was this a pile of loot or you just had them shipped right away?
I think I had them shipped right away. I don't know.
Okay, because you know your pile of loot does expire after 90 days. Once 90 days hits, they'll ship it.
I don't know if I have a pile of loot. I should probably check that.
You got a pile somewhere.
There's something, dude. It's all over the place. But I got M. Bison and Dulcim, so.
Very cool. So you're up to date on your Street Fighter. You have all of them?
Pretty much up to date, yep.
Nice.
The ones
Very
that I
good.
want to collect, because they're coming out with like Evil Ryu, Evil Ken.
Okay.
Some random ones like that, and I'm passing on those. I'm just sticking. And is it the original 10 that came out in Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, the first game?
So it's original 12.
Original
Yeah.
12.
The 8 fighters and then the 4 bosses.
Okay.
And then like Super Street Fighter brought in the 4 new challengers.
Which was Fei Long,
Cammy, Nighthawk, and or T-Hawk, whatever his name was, and DJ.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
so
good knowledge right there, Chad. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's a Street Fighter.
Very impressed.
Video game, like the video
games is my jam.
Yeah, that's his.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
awesome.
You want to talk some RC Pro-Am over here?
Oh
my
give me some
gosh.
RC. That orange car, man, whenever it would speed up randomly, killed me.
F&A, dude. F&A. Same thing with the Excite Bike, dude.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Excite Bike either.
Oh, love those games, man.
Oh, dude, I love those things, dude. Do you remember the Disneyland game, by the way?
Oh, of course I remember Disneyland, yeah.
You're a long lost tune, man.
I don't remember the Disneyland game.
Dude, we got it for Christmas, and I remember we went to Grandma's for Christmas dinner, and I was pissed because all I wanted to do was play the Disneyland game at home, you know?
I think I remember that.
You're talking about the Magical Kingdom game, right?
Magical Kingdom game.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
I
an
don't remember that at
awesome
all.
game, the original Nintendo.
Scott, I'll send you YouTube videos of it.
I think you were hiding that game under your bed next to your hot dogs. I never got to play that one.
It was in his pile of loot.
Oh,
Nice.
FYI, those hot dogs are still good because of all the chemicals that are in them. So
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
35 years later, we're still good. We're still good.
They're pickled. They're fine.
All right, we got a little bit of news. You guys ready to jump into it?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
talk about it.
All right, let's go into FOCO. They showed off their NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Nash bobbleheads, part of their magazine cover series. Chad, you're shaking your head.
What, Kevin Nash? What we doing? Gray shirt. What's going on?
That's actually a promo pic, though.
But I mean, I was lighting from the studio. Like, what are we doing? We all know it's a black shirt he's wearing. That's just the lighting from the studio.
Actually, it's that WWF magazine.
It is.
Look at that. I mean, you can't really see it, but that shirt is just gray.
Hey, man. Bump to Kevin Nash. That's a nice Eric Bischoff in the middle there. You know?
Well, it is $210 for that magazine series.
Is that one limited, Jeff? Is there a total count on that
Like
one?
100, I think. Or something.
I think it was up to 100. Yeah.
They're very hit and miss, I think, sometimes. Some of those bobbleheads, it's like, oh my gosh, they killed it.
Yeah.
There's other times, like,
I agree.
like, there'd be other times like, okay, nah, that looks like Eric Bischoff in the middle there, not Scott Hall.
Like the Miss Elizabeth looks like a church lady from down the street instead of Miss Elizabeth.
Or like Sister Anderson.
The
from
church
our
lady.
or something.
Hey, I'm saying the church lady's pretty. That's all.
Yeah.
So again, that's over at FOCO.com. If you want to pre-order that, that is $210. $10 and part of their magazine cover series. So some of those bobbleheads do sell out quickly. So make sure you jump on them. Although I have noticed that it is Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan that always sell out extremely quickly. So if you guys want those, jump on them. Major Bendies, we were just talking about him. Pink Trunks Macho. No pre-order, and these are all ready to ship.
Come on, Chad.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that's really tempting me.
All right, Chad.
Yep.
Chad. Let's have a talk, dude.
Okay,
all
let's
right.
talk.
Pick up your phone.
It's up.
It's up. All right. Let's go over to MajorBendiesMerch.com.
Okay. No, you're being the devil on his shoulder, dude. You're trying to pull the wallet out of his pocket. And we've got Comic-Con right around the corner with a bunch of goodies.
I'm the
Scott,
angel.
Thank
right?
you. Even though I was trying to get Jeff to get you to buy a Batman when you were in Vegas and easily influenced, I appreciate you having my back right now.
I have your back 100%, dude.
So,
you're trying to protect the wallet heat.
So Rad Chad was messaging Breaker and I, and he wanted you to purchase the 66 Batman.
Oh,
the articulated one.
Got it. So I would 100% be in on that under normal circumstances, but he just put out his 66 line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've already got it. It's like a 5.5, 6-inch scale versus a 7-inch. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's like, I've already got one from him. It's amazing. This one is just as good, if not better, but I'm okay on Batman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can only have so many 66s and I think I'm good.
Are you getting the Batman that like is it like the Comic-Con like car exclusive, like all his different Batmobiles?
The Hot Wheels. I'm very tempted. I mean, I'm already a Mattel guy as it is.
Yeah.
So like, I'm easily swayed.
Purchase with me. I'll order Macho. You order that. I mean, we can do it live in the show.
Scott, pick up your phone.
You better stop, dude.
Look at this type of peer pressure right here.
Well, the pink trunks got me today because I had forgotten about it, and I saw the picture again. I was like, damn it! Like,
yeah,
I was
right in the nostalgia feels. That is the LJN.
Honestly, if I wouldn't have purchased the Road Warriors and Steiners from Maniacs today, I would have jumped in and also cat litter. But if I would have definitely purchased
it. Was expensive too, man.
Dude, tell me about it.
It is. Yeah.
Pretty litter's a pretty penny, dude. Come on now. But honestly, that Macho almost got me, dude, today. So, but San Diego Comic-Con's right around the corner.
I've been kind of holding off too, man. Like, as I said, I'm going to get the Canadians because I've always wanted the Quebecers.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like, I don't know why I like that era. Everybody craps on 93, 94, 95, the new generation, but I have so many fond memories of that, I think, as a kid, you know. So I was like, I had two Mounties as a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had two Mounties. I got one from a friend who got out of wrestling. You know, we all had that friend. You know,
Yep.
It was their figure. You want these? Yeah, absolutely, I want. Yeah,
heck yeah.
Yeah,
now I got the Quebecers.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
perfect.
So I had two Mounties, and I was that was Jacques and Pierre. You know, so I definitely am going to get those from Mitch. You know,
we were just talking about the Matt Maniacs. They are available for pre-order at nerdsclosetsonline.com. Also available at rockandrollcollectibles.com overseas. Keith, did you put in an order for those?
For which ones?
The Steiners and the Road Warriors?
Nah, bro, like I can't. It's like I can't jump into nothing else right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Keith,
I feel you.
Keith,
Stop
pick up your phone.
Sorry.
I don't even, it's like, I think they're cool looking, but there's nowhere. I'm reorganizing my toy cave right now. And it's like, you try to figure out shelves for stuff and different things like that. And you got NECA, you got Turtles, you got, I got a random Michael Jackson pop and all this stuff it's like you can only buy so much stuff, man. Like eventually, you know. But I think they're cool. It's just I'm not jumping into that, man. Like it's not. It doesn't grab me like that. You know,
Scott, you should do a live unboxing on your all's YouTube because I'm very curious.
Yes,
like
Sorry
to put some work on your plate, but you should definitely do that.
Scott, pick up your phone.
I followed, and I don't want to bury, you know, in wrestling terms, bury, you know, somebody. Like, I don't want to bury dude because I think his work is great. It's just only so much you can collect, you know.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. That seems to be the topic of conversation with us lately is a lot of space and budget issues and how you're trying to manage both of those things. So, yeah, it's a very interesting topic with collectors right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one time it was just Mattel. It was just like, okay, we had Mattel, so Mattel had retros. Okay, well, cool. This is what I'm buying. But now it's so much other stuff. You know, we only have so many dollars. I agree with y'all 100%. We only have so many dollars to go around. But there's all kind of stuff like I'm big with breaker, afterpay, and different ways you can kind of try to fit into your budget where it doesn't maybe kill you all at once.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we got two Galoob style companies. We've got, what do we have?
Exactly.
5 retros companies, 4 retro companies.
Who knows?
Yeah, a couple of Remcos.
So many.
And I need my Marcus Alexander Bagwell Galoob.
You think he's joking? He does.
Yeah, no, I'm being serious. I need my one. Give me 2 cold Scorpions. He might be a little off limits at the moment, but I need 2 cold Scorpions.
Too soon, dude. Too soon.
Okay.
You can go Patriot. Okay, we can go Patriot.
All right, let's go there. Let's go there. But you're right. So many different companies in the game right now. It's you kind of have to really pick and choose unless you're like the 0.1%ers that have the money for everything. So
yeah, exactly.
Quick question for you guys. Rad Chad, I'll start with you. What do you think the big surprise is for San Diego Comic-Con?
Good question.
Those are the only questions I asked, Scott.
Yeah. So that's a very tough question. Thank you. I think this is more wishful thinking, and it's kind of beating the drum a little bit. I really hope Macho's back in the fold.
Okay.
Yes,
that's my hope. I hope that's like the secret drop that he's back. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Baraukus, Keith.
So if they drop the Steiner brothers,
that was the big one.
If they drop that, they have to have some type of heat coming into San Diego Comic-Con, because that would have been the one that had everybody talking. So I'm like, what is it? Like,
they're holding 4 aces. We just don't know what it is.
I'm like that, because it's like, and we're also getting to the point now where it's like, okay, what else can they really do? Who else is not signed? You have to almost look at a list. I'm with Chad, of course, Macho. That's kind of one of them layups. I'm gonna say, here goes a wild card. Demolition is back.
Fingers crossed.
Because I heard somewhere, now I don't know how legit it was or whatever.
Just say allegedly, and it clears.
Allegedly, there was
word on the street.
Demolition being back. Okay, so I think that's the big one, and I think Chad's going to say the other big one. But like, I think too, it's going to open it up for like Haku, because his boys are wrestling now.
Yes,
sign. That opened the door for Rick Steiner. You can kind of just see the patterns with everything.
Jeff, I'm going to give you one more. Give me this guy right here, Jesse the Body.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Keith. I was like, I'll take a Baraukus.
Only Ultimate Edition though.
Yeah. Give me. I need 2 bodies. I need I need Rick, I need an announcer.
Yeah.
There you
and
go.
he's got to have the feather boa. The feather boa.
Feather boa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss on that one.
WrestleMania 5 Jesse, announcer.
I mean, Jesse I think is going to be the big one too, because if they come out with the Steiners, it's like, okay, that's the one everybody's been wanting. It's coming up with something big is going to happen, And I mean, because they could have easily just held that announcement off for like weeks and rocked the world of everybody's world, know.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see more versions of the Steiners. I think maybe that's the other surprise.
Superstars line.
You might get
no doubt.
I think maybe a Superstars line.
Yeah.
I think you might even get like maybe Mullet Scott, maybe go like early 90, 91.
Like Galoob style.
Yeah, Galoob
we had
style.
like the side of his head shaved.
Yeah, like you could kind of go with that, or you can go with like I think they're going to take their time with the Steiners though, because they're kind of back under the umbrella.
Well, they probably want people to get the ringside ones, so they'll probably make sure those sell out first and whatnot.
Yeah.
How about if we flip it on you guys? What do you guys think would be the kind of the big reveal?
I kind of mentioned this on TB Toycast, but Macho being back under the fold, that wouldn't really shock anybody, because it doesn't seem like there's not that many people who are like, oh, we need Macho back under the family. It's not. I don't hear
that. A lot of figures.
We had him for 13 years, so 12, 13 years. So not many people are like, most people are just kind of like, oh, give us that last Ultimate Edition and then do what you got to do. We just want that last little piece of cake, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Scott, what about you?
Sting.
Ooh. That's the one I was going to say too.
I think Sting's coming back.
I think with the Jake the Snake deals, the Billy Gunn deals, like they're looking. Steve has said it on numerous podcasts. All he needs is that type of deal. He can still stay under the AEW, but if he wants that merchandise deal,
I would love that. We need Sting.
yes,
Agree.
There's
It's been
so
too
much
long.
meat on the table with him.
yes.
Oh gosh. I mean, Remco style, Ultimate Editions. I mean, you name it. There is, like you said, so much meat on the bone to chew there with Sting.
Yes.
It's a no-brainer for me. You got to get him back under a deal. I'm hoping he's the big announcement for Comic-Con.
I hope you're right.
I think you're more right than probably most, because I think that opens it up now, where he can now branch out and give his licensing away, like because he probably sees the money that Macho's family is making and Hulk Hogan is able to do, and Bret Hart and all these guys, they're getting top tier contracts, you know.
Yep.
So he can definitely stay if he wants to stay under that AEW and be kind of like a legend. But if he's able to branch out and do that, that would be huge. And I think that you might be onto something there. That's more realistic than the wish list of Demolition. I just heard something. I'm like, maybe that's
Allegedly.
Could you imagine an Ultimate Edition Crow Sting? Or an Ultimate Edition Great American Bash American Sting?
Yes,
with two different heads, with the face paint gone. Oh, I mean, the possibilities are endless with that guy.
Legends line, Blade Runners, like give me
yes.
Yeah. Now it makes sense to do the Warrior like that, like
I'm plopping down my nursing flaps over here. Holy crap.
It's just so many. Sting's one of them guys I think Mattel did good, but they could have done way better. And there's so many other people out there, you know.
Yeah.
And that last Sting in the Legends line, I didn't realize how many people wanted that era Sting.
It was almost like a first appearance as Crow Sting, right? It was like when he first started to come out with that makeup.
Type, right?
Yeah, it was like what was that video game, Scott? Was it WCW?
Was it Revenge or World Tour?
There was World Tour that came out first, or WCW
on the PlayStation, right?
I think it was
PlayStation
versus the World. Yeah,
that's what came out on PlayStation.
That's the one.
Sting on the front with the bat pointing like that.
Yes, we had like the thin,
vibrator figure, kind of like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I got the vibrator. No, I mean, no.
Oh man. You know, by the way, screw that game, Rad Chad, WCW versus or World Tour when they had DDP on the front, and me and my buddy stayed up till about 4 a.m. playing that game, trying to see if we can unlock DDP, because at that time there was no internet. So we thought DDP was actually a unlockable character. He was not. And I lost sleep that night.
Total red herring on the cover.
Dude, it was, man. I drank so many Slurpees that night with getting the sugar rush.
Yeah.
But no DDP. I was like, damn it.
I remember playing that game thinking the graphics will never look better than this. This is the most realistic graphics of all time.
Yep.
And you look back at it now, it's just like 16 polygons like connected to a string. It's terrible, but
that's like us playing GoldenEye, man. It was almost the same exact thing. It's like, oh my god, GoldenEye's graphics will never be beaten. It's like the greatest thing ever. And then like Xbox comes out and you're like, oh well, shit. Well, I got beat.
Yep.
Speaking of AEW, Jazzwares, Jon Moxley and MJF 2-pack Target exclusive. If you guys saw the Moxley figure, it looks like he hasn't slept in 5 years.
Yeah.
Or it looks like me right now, one of the two. MJF does come with a robe, so if anybody is interested in the Moxley and MJF 2-pack, that'll be coming later this year, exclusively to Target. Anybody in on AEW figures, by the way? No, not even Supremes, huh?
No, I really just don't do anything current, and I don't really watch AEW and stuff like that. I see them a lot on the pegs. I'm always looking for the exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not really in on them.
Okay.
I got the Owen Hart, and I'll probably get the Sting Supreme.
Speaking of AEW, there's an AEW panel that will take place at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. I think it's Thursday.
It's the 25th.
Thursday, it is the 25th? Okay. I know Mattel's was. Okay.
Same day.
Panel will be Swerve, Tony Storm, Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, and Darby Allin. For those going to San Diego Comic-Con, they will be in room 6BC So Baraukus, Chad, Frank. I don't know who Frank is. Anyways, it will be room 6BCF. Now, it's per Wrestling Figure News, this hasn't been labeled AEW Jazzwares. No word on Jazzwares panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. I think you'll, and I do keep up with a little AEW, you'll probably see that black and white Tony Storm.
Speaking of Mattel, San Diego Comic-Con Mattel panel will take place July 25th from 11:15 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. And that is in room 6A for those going to San Diego Comic-Con. So when they do their reveals, that will be, well, they usually do the night before, but the main reveal will be July 25th.
That day's like Christmas. I
Yeah,
remember
it is.
first discovered you guys in 2016, 17. And I listened to that first San Diego Comic-Con like podcast. And I wasn't even really collecting yet because like retros is what got me back in. But like just listening to everything you guys were saying and like writing down my notes and then finding the images and stuff, like, and then every year since then, it's just been like Christmas. I look forward to, well, your guys' recap episode, but like just the reveal days. It's so fun.
It is. It is. It's totally like Christmas. It's like waking up and okay, what are they giving us? Yeah.
Same thing. I just basically pawn all the work off to my employees. I'm like, all right, guys, you go for it.
Yep. I'm on break for an hour.
Yeah, I'm on break for an hour. So
you're searching for it, and then people are texting you. You're looking at things like the last thing you're doing is your job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
You're just scrolling like every time somebody, and if there's not a video, then you're on Facebook like, come on, refresh.
Yes.
Refresh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're getting like,
and that is it for the news. Did you guys want to jump into the nostalgia segment?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about it.
Why'd you guys want to talk about Hasbro Series 8 tonight?
This was going to happen last time we were on. We were going back and forth on which one to do. And I think we're both in agreement that, what was it, 3 we did last time?
3, yeah.
We did 3, yep.
3, and I think 8 might be pound for pound the best Hasbro series.
So, and I think we chose this one because him and I, and like when we just talk on our free time when we're talking about wrestling figures, we're often talking about Hasbro's. And we often will ask each other, like, what do you think the best series is? And we'll rank the figures within a series. Just to ask each other those like boredom questions to kind of break up your day a little bit.
Right.
And, and like he said, I was the one that really pushed for Series 3 last time we were on because I think that is like a series that doesn't really get talked about, but I think it's just an incredible series. But everyone talks about the Red Card series. And it's got, obviously your favorite figure of all time in it, Jeff. So we thought it might ring true for half of the Fullyposeable squad. So we thought
it's the greatest figure of all time, Scott.
Yeah.
It's at least 7th.
Suck it, Macho Man Slim Jim.
Suck it, Trebek.
No, I agree with you. This is the greatest series. I mean, just top to bottom, star-studded. Is it the Luger that we wanted? No.
Nope.
But is it a great Luger? Yes.
Still good.
Yeah.
Still good.
Oh, spoiler. Lex Luger's in this. Sorry,
Lex
30
Luger's
years.
in the series, guys.
Yeah, sorry. 30 years later, it's a spoiler.
30 years later. But no, I had a cool story too with this series because it was probably one of the last cool Hasbro series that I found in stores too. Because I was about it was what? So this is 94. I was about 8 years old. We went to the mall one night. My mom was paying a Famous Bar bill. So that takes you back if you remember Famous Bar. That might just be a Illinois thing, Missouri thing too.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it was in malls. It was like with JCPenney's and Macy's.
Macy's kind of was, yeah. So the people in the Midwest who listen to your show be like, oh yeah, I remember Famous Bar, yeah. But it was so she was paying that bill, and I had not Toys R Us. KB Toys was probably just like a couple of stores down. And I'm like, Mom, can we please? I'm gonna go to KB Toys while she's paying the bill. She's like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go down there. And I walked down there, and I'll never forget walking in, going straight to the wrestling aisle like any kid. It was the middle aisle, and I found Lex Luger. And this is 94, right around WrestleMania 10. So Lex Luger is like my guy, along with Bret Hart. So I'm like, oh, it's the Narcissist. Well, if it's the only one it gets, I'm going to ask my mom, can I get it? So I go to the counter with my Lex Luger, get ready to check out. And the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, you like wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Hold on one second." So he goes to the back with this big ass box, puts it right down, opens it up, and it's the whole series.
Oh.
So I could only get one though.
Oh.
So I just remember looking through the box, like, oh my gosh, just look, it's Yokozuna, and it's like, this is Bam Bam Bigelow. And then Yokozuna, I'm like, why does Yokozuna's like card? I'm holding the Yokozuna, and the card feels like it's like kind of leaning a little bit. And I'm like, God, I want them all. Like I literally, but you know,
yeah,
$7.99, $8.99, whatever the mall tax was. It was like, well, you can get one.
Oh, this is killing me, Jeff. This is killing me, dude.
So I, of course, got Bret Hart because it was 1984.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart, I missed the actual other Bret. So I was like, I got to get Bret Hart. So I wound up getting Bret Hart that night. But I still have dreams of that day where I'm like, and then, of course, I didn't see a lot of those until I became adult years later. But that story kind of is it's one of the last cool wrestling finds that before Hasbro's became really hard to find.
Yeah.
Where I actually saw them in a regular store,
Scott, what was the last series we saw? Was that 6 or 7?
The one right before it would have been series 7. We never saw anything red card on. And like Toys R Us, KB Toys, they just were gone. So to kind of piggyback off of Keith's story, which, dude, my heart is crushed for you because thinking of the matches you could have had with these guys.
It's sad at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, it's a tempered enthusiasm. Like,
and I get it. I was just happy because it was a Wednesday night. It wasn't probably a pay period. She probably only had so much money that night, and she got it for me. And
still swung a figure. Yeah.
I mean, I still swung it, but then I'm like, but what about Lex Luger? What about I can't about it? I actually was in my last therapy session last week and I talked about it.
So we actually found out about this set because a good friend of ours, Nathan, we've mentioned him a few times on this show. He happened to tell Jeff, hey, there's a red card series out that has Lex Luger in it. So Jeff gets in the car and he goes, dude, there's a red card series out. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, the last series was like, what was the one before this? It was Sid, Anvil, Virgil. Was that the one before this? That was series 7, I think.
Yellow cards. It was
Sean. It was yellow cards.
Sean Razor series. Yeah.
Okay, so I take that back. We were able to find the yellow cards at Toys R Us, but once red cards hit, gone. They were no longer at our Toys R Us or our KBs. So Jeff was like, dude, the last one was yellow. There's a red card out, and it's got Lex Luger, it's got Yokozuna, and I'm like, bullshit. There's no way I would have heard about this.
Can I preface? Nathan was also a pathological liar. Still is to this day, but
so it's like the boy who cried wolf story, but this time he was telling the truth. And you didn't believe him.
Exactly.
Right. So Scott, I got in the truck, and Scott's like, dude, if it's not there, you're going to school tomorrow and punching Nathan in the face.
For
me.
Nathan closer to you, Scott, or closer to Jeff?
Closer to Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're like, this punk kid keeps lying to me.
Yeah. This is the one that took the razor chain, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that story is hilarious.
You don't take accessories, dude. You don't do that. That's a huge no-no. Yeah.
So did y'all get the WWF magazine back in the day?
Yes. We had a subscription.
So I think it was in the first time I saw it was like it was one of the issues leading up to WrestleMania 10. And you open that cover up and they had that ad in there.
The gatefold, yep.
Yes. And it was I think it was Doink was on the front, and it was like I'm like, oh gosh. I think it's actually, like, and that's the way we would see it. But that's the first time I saw it. So it was like a dream becoming reality, actually walking in the store and seeing it. Because it was a period where I didn't see the yellow card series and stuff like that, So
yeah, it was this ad right here. It's with Doink on it.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
I remember that.
It was in the front of the WWF mag. It was like one of those March 94 issues, and I opened it and was like, oh man, and I kept just looking at that like.
So I actually remember that, Scott, because we hadn't gotten our magazine yet.
Right.
And that's when Nathan came to school, and he's like, dude, there's a red card series, Hasbro. It's at Castro Village Toy Shop. And then I got in the Scott's truck, and Scott's all, dude, you're going to punch Nathan if it's not there.
Yep.
Luckily, I didn't have to punch Nathan the next day because the figures were there at Castro Village Toy Shop. But
so it's about a 25-minute drive, and I was off school. Jeff was just getting out of school. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's see what happens. And if Nathan's wrong, he's getting his ass kicked tomorrow. We walked in, and right when you walked in, they had an end cap, and it had like kind of all their boys' toys on it, which was like G.I. Joe. Wrestling was there. They had a few other ones. But right dead center, there was the red card. And luckily, the store owner's name was John. This was like a little hole-in-the-wall toy store that we had been going to for years, but all of their stuff was overpriced from Toys R Us, so we didn't get to go there often. They were like, okay, if you really can't find it, then we'll go hunt there. Well, we walk in, there's red card. We pick up all of them. We go, we check out, and the owner, kind of like what happened with you, Keith, he's like, oh, you guys collect wrestling? And we're like, yeah, we're like big into these. He's like, well, let me get your name and your number, and I'll call you if we get more in. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. You know, I was going to come back anyway and check, but you're kind of saving me here. And sure enough, every single series they got in after that, he would call me and he would put the box aside until I went in, picked out what I wanted, and then he put them on the end cap.
That's awesome. Without going off the game plan a little too much, how long were you collecting at that store after the fact? Like after Hasbro's, like when did that store like fizzle out, or is it still going, or like?
No, it's long gone, unfortunately. I don't know what happened to the owner, but dude, he got me. So I would also collect Spawn figures around 95, I think is when those first dropped. So I was going to him for Spawn figures. I finished out the Hasbros with him. He got me all the way through the green card. I think pretty much after Spawn is when I stopped going in. So it would have been like 96, 97.
Gotcha. That's super cool though, to have that connection. Like I'm jealous that you have those like stories of like that like connection, because I don't know where I got half of my Hasbro's at, and I'm jealous of that, and I think that's so cool.
The two big names you just have to remember is John and Barbara.
And Barbara at Hayward Toys R Us.
Now those are the two names. Like they saved us.
For Nasty Boys, right?
The Nasty Boys were in Fresno, California.
Okay.
So I actually I called Hasbro one day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot find. We lucked out at a Toys R Us in Dublin and found the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find the Nasties anywhere. I called Hasbro. I said, who has them? Because nobody around me, I need to find somebody that has these things. They gave me a list of stores that had them. So I went on, I jump in the phone books. I'm calling 411 for these stores. I found a guy in Fresno. I call him up. I'm like, I'm looking for this WWF Hasbro. I'm looking for the Nasty Boys. He's like, the Nasty Boys. I go, yeah, they're on a card. There's two of them on a card. He goes, okay, let me go see what I have. And he comes back and he goes, does one of them look like Brian Bosworth? I go, yes, one of them looks like Brian Bosworth. He goes, I've got him. I go, dude, I got my mom's credit card. I give him her credit. He charges me for shipping and the figures. We had him in a week.
Yeah.
Then we had completed our tag team set.
That guy could have named a price and you would have paid it.
It didn't even matter. I had mom's credit card. I was good.
So, yeah, I think it was
playing with house money.
We stopped seeing them. Like it was just like, I think KB Toys, and then the reset, like we talked about last time in 95, when you could tell Hasbro was cleared out the website, their warehouse. They were sitting series 2s and 3s, and they were the 3 for 10. But yeah, man, we didn't have those cool relations. We probably just didn't know, like, to ask those collector shops, like, because they probably could have ordered them. You know?
Chris from Free Figures Toy Company, he said that they were getting Hasbro's until about 2001, 2002. Yeah. He said that before, and he's like, yeah, we were sitting on green cards. We were sitting on all of these Hasbro's. And he goes, we were just sitting on those.
I got a cool story with that. So my buddy, what's the guy that does the podcast with Breaker? What's his name?
Travis.
The guy from Ohio. So Travis would probably know this, because I actually used to live in right outside of Dayton, Ohio, where he lives, you know. And I made, of course, that's where I got started in wrestling, and I got a lot of my buddies there in Middletown and stuff like that. Well, one of my buddies in Middletown told me that I guess their Hills, if you ever hear that, Hills, it's a department store that was really popular on the East Coast and parts of the Midwest. They had whole walls of the green cards.
Oh my gosh.
$1 or $2. Wow. It was
so that's where they ended up.
So I guess so, because he said, like, the only one that really, really sold out right away was the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Of course.
That makes sense.
But after that, still think about it. Evil Crush, the Smoking Guns, Yokozuna. They said, like, there was, like, all the way up until probably like 97, 98, they were still there. And think about the rest of the United States. We're like, where is this series? We only saw a small clip in WWF magazine, like at that store, like other than that, I didn't know they existed, but
that kills me.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's
Well,
insane.
Of course, I pulled the list for Hasbro Series 8. I pulled that off WrestlingFigureDatabase.com. Just go into the WWF section, the Hasbro section, click on Series, and click on Series 8, and follow along as Scott reads off this list. Spoiler alert, Lex Luger is in this series.
And it's not the Lex we wanted.
No.
You're hero.
Keep singing, dude. Keep going. This is great. Again, that's all over at WrestlingFigureDatabase.com. So, Scott, what do you got for this wonderful, immaculate Series 8 Hasbro?
Yes, sir. WWF Hasbro Series 8 consisted of Lex Luger, but he was not in his all-American Lex Express look. He was in his narcissist look. Next up, Bam Bam Bigelow, highly underrated Hasbro, in my opinion. The Undertaker, and he had a trench coat accessory. Mr. Perfect, this would have been Mr. Perfect in his blue singlet with yellow on the back. Yokozuna, and this would have been Yoko in his red and black gear. And of course, the 7th best figure of all time, Bret Hart,
bitch.
in his silver shades. And Jeff, that rounds out WWF Hasbro Series 8.
Suck it, Skatoon. Chad, I already know what your favorite figure is.
It's the Bret, hands down. I want to ask you, Jeff, when this first came out, I was pretty young. Was this immediately your favorite Hasbro?
Oh, hands down. There was some. It had the perfect tan.
Yep.
The silver shades added something because you were so used to seeing Bret on TV in pink shades, and his first figure was in pink shades. So when they threw the silver shades on him, it just kind of was like, oh, like just everything about this figure just popped. The singlet, and just everything about this figure is just, it's fantastic. It's a grade A piece of meat right there.
When I was a kid, I thought this was the mail away Bret Hart, because if you remember the ad, it looked closer to this than the Purple Heart re-release of Series 4. The tan just does so much for it. Like
it does.
You can't overstate that enough. Like how much more toyetic that makes the figure. Yep. I do think it's odd. The only miss with it, if I can give it a miss, and I love this figure, it's one of my favorite. I don't know why they didn't include the stars and the boots. It's an odd omission in my opinion. I don't know if it's just an oversight, but the Series 4 does have it, and for whatever reason, the Series 8 does not. But otherwise, nostalgia aside, Series 4 is my favorite. But this is probably, in my opinion, and it's probably because I'm just a huge Bret mark and I own that, the best Hasbro.
And you know what else stood out on it was the red card, him on the red card.
Yes.
Because it was something different than him being on the blue card. I can't explain it.
It was the tan. It was the tan.
It just pops.
It's a fantastic figure, best figure of all time. It's in our Figure Hall of Fame. It's just immaculate. This whole series was so good. I mean,
it's so strong.
I have some fun facts for this series, if you don't mind me sharing.
Please.
And so I'll do my plug real quick. And it's not even for me. It's for my good friend, Grenville Nash.
Oh, Grenville,
He published the Has book. It's the ultimate guide to the real wrestling action of the Hasbros. You can find him on like Instagram and Facebook. He's local to Keith and I. Lives about 10 minutes from us.
Oh, cool.
But real good guy. You can find him on Instagram. But I think he's got like 10 books left, and he's selling for about $35 shipped. So if you haven't hopped on it, I highly suggest it. But he did 3 years worth of research before he did this book, and like just some of like the fun facts of the series. So like Lex Luger, we were talking about him,
right?
And I think it's kind of ironic that like we all wanted the American Lex Luger, and when you look at Lex, obviously he's in a narcissist attire, but he's a reuse of the British Bulldog. If you look at his wristbands, you actually can see the Union Jack on his
really?
Oh, okay.
Yes, which is something that's crazy. And honestly, I didn't even realize that until Grenville and I were talking when he was kind of making this book and putting it together. And then I busted out my Lex, and sure enough, you can see it. And that brings another point. As great as this series is, with the exception of Yokozuna, it's all reuse.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So who was, hold on. Oh, so Bam Bam was probably like Earthquake
or Typhoon.
Yep. Undertaker. Mr. Perfect's Mr. Perfect. Yokozuna, you said, is kind of the outlier. Bret Hart's. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Lex Luger is Hogan one legs with Bulldog upper body, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, it's all re-released. So like as Hasbro was going on, you could tell that they were starting to get the most out of their molds, as a lot of us say. Mm-hmm. And Yoko was the only original figure in the bunch, which to me is also a testament, though, of how good the series is, because despite that, everyone has such fond memories of it and a high opinion of the series.
That's interesting. Now I'm going to have to go out into the front room and grab that Luger because I've got it up on my mantle signed in a card case.
You can definitely see it.
You can definitely see it. Something you never would have thought about or even noticed.
Wow.
I just think it's so ironic because we all wanted the USA Lex and he's got the Union Jack wrist.
Well, they were foreshadowing the United Powers of
the Allied Powers.
The Allied Powers.
Yes.
Yeah. Allied Powers. Allied Powers. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's serious. I don't know. It's just it's a combination too of the carding on it being red and just popping, colorful. Like I said, goes back to what we said about Hasbro's colorful. Like Bam Bam Bigelow's colorful. You know, even the Narcissist character was at the time that was very colorful. You know, gear and stuff like that. You know, you get a huge. Everybody loves a big, thick figure in Yokozuna. You know.
Oh yeah.
By far, Bret Hart. I mean, you could have not nailed that. Bret Hart is almost a 10 out of 10 figure, if not a 10 out of 10, you know?
Yeah.
You know, am I forget Mr. Perfect too. I think that blue Mr. Perfect gear, you know, you could use that for a 1993 Mr. Perfect, or you can use it for a 1991.
I love the yellow back.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
About it.
You can use it as a 1991 Intercontinental title, Mr. Perfect, you know, because he wore a lot of blue in 91, you know.
Yep.
And the Undertaker with the coat, that's like that
was huge as a kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally got that coat. I mean, for a 10-year-old kid, when your first Taker didn't have that and this one did. My only gripe with this Taker is because it's a re-release and the fact that we got a mailway. I wish the hat was either just not on or I mean, removable might be a stretch, but like I wish that maybe it just didn't have the hat.
Would you have hoped that they put the hair in front of the face or something like that?
Yeah, just something maybe to differentiate it a little bit. But I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and this was definitely a big reuse series in terms of mold. So I mean, I get it as an adult looking back, and it's definitely my preferred Taker of the two.
Right. All right, I got some eBay prices to go over. Thank you for reading that off, by the way, in the Hasbook.
Well, let's not gloss over that Lex Luger sculpt on the face. I would put that up against any other Hasbro skull, like just the head alone. Throw out the body, just the head. That's got to be at least a top 5 Hasbro sculpt.
Yeah, I agree.
That Luger head.
100%.
It's incredible.
It's spot on.
It is. It's dead on Luger.
Yeah. Especially when you give the fact the image of him they use on the back of the card, it's a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Absolutely, yes. They nailed it.
And I think that's the reason why it's so much nostalgia. People say Hasbro's are cartoony and stuff like that. As I said, I like the word colorful more, but the sculpts, I'm looking at this case. It's not too many guys in that case you look at and you don't know who they are.
That's right. That's really true.
Like, I mean, the only Hasbro would be the Ric Flair and maybe the Shawn Michaels are the only two where I'm like, they could have probably did a little, and I'm talking about the Rocker Shawn.
The Rocker Shawn.
Yeah. Where they could have done a little bit better with it, where you might not know, but everybody else, man, like it's not too many people that they did not nail.
Same with Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
He has 1980s mom hair going on.
I have a hot take about that Marty though, if I can squeeze it in.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I am very much a minority and I get it. I think he's the best jumper of all Hasbros if you know how to use them. If you put your thumb on the bottom of the turnbuckle and you push his shoulders down,
he does.
It's not even close to compared to the guys with the hump on their back.
That's too much. That's too much work for me, man.
I know people are going to blow my Twitter up probably, but hot take, he's the best jumper, Marty Jannetty. And if you look at the retros, they're all like Marty Jannetty, not like Shawn.
Good point.
Like
That's actually a good point, because if you think of the Snuka, his legs were straight, so it's kind of hard to stretch out your hands like this to make him jump, right?
Right. He just got more. We used to do jump competitions all the time. My buddies and I off turnbuckles, see how far they can go. We'd mark them with chalk and stuff like that. And Jannetty won every time. And then like I feel a little bit validated when I see like the Seth Rollins retro, and he's like more like Marty Jannetty than he is like Jimmy Snuka.
And Jeff, one more thing that I love about this is the Yokozuna in this series is Chad and Keith's LJN Bundy from our generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point. Good point.
Yeah.
That just heavy figure that was going to be in at least, I don't know, 70% of your matches you had because he was going to fight all your faces.
Yep.
That was our Bundy, and I'm sure that was your Yokozuna too.
On top of that, Yoko was champion at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, he was top of the card. Yeah.
So he's getting used in every match.
Every
Every
match.
card, I
Yep.
should say.
Yep. Just like Bundy was used for us.
He was a
Yes.
big get at that time. Like that was the
100%.
one that you felt like you had to get if you needed one. I know Keith got Brett, but like he was the new name that was
Yoko was right there too that night. It was like Yoko, Lex, and so it was the WrestleMania 10 main event.
It was WrestleMania 10.
Like,
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I need one of these, and it was like I'm almost like if I want to say it was like March. It was right around WrestleMania 10 when we were in there and that happened because I remember it being kind of cold outside still,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, I just wish.
Yeah.
As I said in therapy last week, it just still rained. That box was just there. They were all there.
Yep.
It was like, died of it.
All right, Lex Luger and the Narcissist Look last sold eBay listing July 9th for $121. That's gone up a little bit. It's kind of fluctuating in that area, isn't it?
I agree. Yeah, it's coming back up from the fall that it took after COVID.
Yeah. Bam Bam Bigelow last sold eBay listing July 10th. Seller wanted $344.99, but accepted $105.
So these next two for Bam Bam and Taker, we got to figure out this seller name because I'm about to go blast him with offers. He's taking baths on everything.
So this was
Wow.
all on 130point.com where I was able to see the sold listings. Yeah, this one kind of
You got to text me this seller's name. So I'm about to go blast him with some offers for the because Taker too, what you're about to read and share with everybody.
Because,
That's the same
man.
thing.
The Hasbro market. If you guys are collectors, it's what they call crashing right now. Like they're still popular, but it's not what it was
no.
2 or 3 years ago. Where that Bret Hart. I mean, I don't see what Bret is. Bret will be down the line here, but even that Taker and Lex Luger, they were all 200 plus, 300.
Man.
Well, Taker's still up there in price. Undertaker with the trench coat last sold eBay listing July 10th. Seller wanted $560, but accepted $340.
No, they're still up there.
So is Taker's price going back up?
Undertaker's doing a lot of autograph signings now and stuff
Touche.
too.
Touche.
Makes sense.
If you
makes
think
sense.
about it from that's part of the reason why I did like a little purge of some of my Hasbros, cut it down a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't want to get rid of that Undertaker figure because what if I did get a chance to actually meet him?
Well, that's his rookie figure too.
Yeah, that's his rookie figure. So
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mr. Perfect. Now, last sold on eBay, the figure was out of the package, but was with the card. So kind of picture the guy had the card laying on the table with the figure laying on it, not in bubble because the bubble was ripped off. Last sold was June 26th. Seller wanted $99.99, but accepted $80. That was the closest to being carded.
Does that help the value if you still have the card with the figure?
I don't think so. It's considered loose.
It's nostalgia just to say, hey, I have a Luther Borga, and I still have the card.
Okay.
Guy years ago when I bought it, he sold it to me. He was like, hey, do you want the card? And I was like, yeah, because I never really held a green card like that. I still have it somewhere around here, but it doesn't do anything for it.
So there's the bio on the back that I would want is that little cutout bio. Scott used to cut those out all the time.
Yeah.
No, I still have all of our cards intact.
I bet you if I put it on
full card.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, I thought you cut the bio.
No, for every figure we've got in Hasbro, I've got the card. I kept the card back.
That's
so I literally have a paper bag with
awesome.
all of the cards in it. So it's like a stack.
Oh, all right.
Sitting in the garage, dude.
Make a frame of that or something like a gigantic.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that with the LJN posters as well.
Yeah.
Individually framing the LJN and just like doing an entire wall of them.
Yeah. I think
so something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yokozuna with the red and black key last sold eBay listing was July 8th. Seller wanted $225, but accepted $225. I got nothing on that one.
Yeah, that seller knows what he's doing.
I know.
By the way, that attire, by the way, can be seen in for the first time, I believe, in the Super Nintendo Raw game. Oh, I'm sorry, Royal Rumble.
I was going to say, wasn't it Royal Rumble?
Love that game.
Because that was Yoko's first appearance, right?
Correct.
Yep.
He only wore that gear too like that a couple of times. Like if you go back in 90, like none of his fantasy gear, he did actually wear the red gi and the black pants, but it was normally reversed.
First, yeah.
Yeah.
It was reversed. That's the one that we grew in love. But yeah, that's a lot of like early superstars and stuff like that. You can see him in that gear.
Yep. And Bret Hart with the silver shades, greatest figure of all time, Scott. Last sold eBay listing July 4th. Seller wanted $458, but accepted $429.
Still a good one.
That's still up there. It's gone down quite a bit. The peak of COVID, that was over a G.
Almost 700.
So
holy crap.
Fun fact, I purchased that from Travis Fowler. Funny, we mentioned him earlier in the show. I paid $200 for it.
Oh, that's very nice.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
Spiked up to $1,200, and now I'm sitting here going, "Oh crap!" I didn't need that.
It's like playing the stock market, dude.
Right? Exactly.
But you're not going to sell it. You're not that guy. You never flip your figures.
I was gonna say with the Bret Hart, do you think because technically the glasses aren't accurate, right? The silver, because he was one. Aren't the silver more so the Hart Foundation?
Yep, that's correct.
But I think that makes the figure pop more. It's
it makes it more toyetic.
It makes it more like like I'm not. As I said, that goes back to me, like, as far as, like, I know it's not accurate, but I think that's something where they kept it and it just it pops better.
Yeah. And it's something that will grab your eye real quick when you're walking down that toy aisle. You'll see kind of the darkish Bam Bam Bigelow outfit that you actually made a custom gear of, right, Keith?
Yes. Yeah, that's
awesome.
The gear I'm wearing right now. It's the Bam. I think I sent that to you. Did I send you the other ones? I was thinking, you might actually have seen all of them.
I think I have.
Yeah, because there's some other ones that I got planned too.
Mum's the word, dude. Mum's the word.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess this is a Keith question then. Keith, best big man of all time, or the two best big men of all time?
That's tough, man. Ooh, that's a tough one. So, God, I love Vader. You know what I mean? Like Vader, when I think of big man, dominant, world champion, Vader's up there.
The Kongs.
Stop it, Jeff.
You stop right now. I'll have you thrown out of here right now.
Thank you. See,
man,
Jeff?
You sound like my brother, man.
Gosh. I think Bam Bam. Honestly, who's a sleeper? Because everybody says Bam Bam and Vader. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like those are my two. Those are my two.
Umaga. If
Excellent.
Umaga would have, I think, lived a little bit longer, it didn't take a lot longer. Umaga really, pound for pound, is one of the best big man workers of all time.
He was so good. His 07 Rumble match with Cena is like chef's kiss. So good.
Match.
Like, I think, and they said that last run, and we, and I know Chad doesn't watch a lot of current stuff, but like the way Solo is now and Jacob Fatu, they moderned their style off Umaga so much. I almost want to throw Umaga up there as one of the best big men of all time.
I wouldn't argue at all.
Like I just think that unfortunately it was untimely that he passed so early, because he was going to they said they were going to bring him back at the Royal Rumble the next year. He died in December. So but like big man, it's so many, man.
Well, what about Dusty? Like, no one talks about him being a big man because maybe he doesn't wrestle like a big man. Would you classify him as a big man?
He's like that right in between. Like
he's like Kevin. He's kind of like
I know he doesn't wrestle like a Vader or like a Quake or a Bam Bam, and because he was a face a lot of times, but like he was a big dude.
I mean, you can with big man too. You could throw like Brody in there, because I mean 6'7", 6'8", But when you think of big man, I think of hefty. I think of like
what about Boss Man?
Boss Man's a great big man.
I was going to say Boss Man is one of the most underrated big men of all time. His speed and his stamina, man, he was so good.
Even when he was heavier too in the 80s, like that cage match against the Hulk, like
with the superflex off the top. It's like
so good.
Boss Man was really, it's so many, man. And that's why I said, if you go with thick guys, Terry Gordy's up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Terry Gordy's a big boy. He's 330, 340, big boy. big working big guy at that, you know. But if you say the two best, man, I think you honestly gotta give it to Bam Bam and Vader. You know,
that's my two.
That's what I would say too.
It's kind of like, but I could argue Mark Henry at times, you know, like with that Hall of Fame run.
That run was fantastic.
Can't touch it. Keith needs to do that run.
Yeah, dude.
I'm telling you, you got a little Mark Henry.
You know, so
we got KO and Mark Henry.
So years ago, people used to say, like, "Hey, you look like Mark Henry. You look like Mark Henry." I'm like, I used to like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm, you know, big guy. You know what I mean? Like, okay, whatever. But then the more I really kind of like looked at like younger Mark Henry, the way he was built, you know, the way I'm built, the way he moves in the ring, the way I move in the ring, you learn how to embrace it. Mark Henry's a Hall of Famer. One of the best, one of the best runs. That's a compliment. 100%. You know, 100%.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, I don't have to look like him in the face and stuff like that, but like as like our body movements are built, heck, even the way he's built, it's like I've been more embraced that over time. You know what I mean? So
what we need is a picture of Scott and KO and you and Mark Henry doing the Spider-Man meme.
Exactly. You know who I really look like, and this is gonna throw y'all off. I don't know if this makes the cast and our podcast or not, but Odyssey Jones, the guy that's on. He's okay. So he was at NXT. Google him really quick.
Crap. Where's my phone?
Odyssey. I think it's Odyssey Jones.
All right, Scott, you got to bring it up, dude. My phone's charging.
Odyssey Jones, WWE. Now Google him.
Oh, holy shit. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Like that's one of the rare occasions I'm like, this dude looks like me.
That is you, bro.
All right.
Like the way we're built, the way we smile. When they was like when he debuted on television, I was getting all kind of messages.
What's funny is when Braun Breaker appeared, everybody was messaging Brian Breaker.
Yeah.
He was like, "What the hell? This guy stole your name."
You. Yeah. I thought you were going to say you. I really thought you were teeing that up.
No.
See, Jeff, you are a heel. They were expecting the swerve.
I was expecting the swerve.
I am a heel. It's all part of my psychology, Scott.
Right.
So, Keith, you can go to Access and just tell people you're Odyssey Jones. They won't know.
Exactly. They probably
until the real one shows up, and then, you know.
Yeah, then they're like, okay. I think he's like, I'm 6 foot. He's like 6'5", though. I think he's a big boy. But like, you know, I'll sit there. I mean, we're built the same too. Like I could probably sit there and then I gotta like, I don't want to take a picture with nobody else. I'm like, we gotta take a picture. We gotta
the Spider-Man meme, no doubt. With you guys.
Like,
definitely.
So this question has been asked to every guest, and you guys are no different. Are you guys going to Vegas next year for Mania?
Maybe.
The plan is yes.
I like what I'm hearing.
We're getting closer to WrestleMania coming to the Midwest with Indianapolis.
Yep.
Minneapolis is 10 hours. I don't know if are they still going to Minneapolis or was SummerSlam the cancellation prize?
Best we can do is SummerSlam. That was basically
okay. It was the cancellation prize. Indianapolis coming to WrestleMania coming to Indianapolis is going to be big. WrestleMania possibly coming to Nashville.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. But man, Vegas. I've never been to Vegas before, so fun. So I want to go next year.
Scott will show you around.
Yeah. Take you to a few
Jeff,
clubs.
If I do go, it's literally, and I mean this, I'm not just saying this like any kind of way. It'd be to meet you guys and hang out with everybody. It wouldn't be to attend the event. It would be to go to the Fig Life meetup, meet so many people that I've interacted with for
that's the most fun part.
Decade now at this point, which it's crazy, but that would be the reason I would go. I travel so much with my work so sometimes it's hard to kind of get me out besides that.
Well, we appreciate it, man. But like, it's Vegas, dude. It's one of those things, you know, and plus you've never been to a WrestleMania.
I have. I was at 24.
Oh, you did go to 24.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I went to 24 but I did not do it right though. I bought my tickets drunk one night coming over from college bars and
no, you did do it right.
A buddy and I went. We stayed with his grandpa in the Villages in Orlando, and which is a retirement community, by the way.
Yep.
We didn't do it right. So if I would go again, I would have to do it right. But
I think
the appeal to me, though, would be to meet you two and everybody else who I interact with on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that.
Bump y'all, man. I want to see the Tribal Chief versus Roman Reigns. I mean, Tribal Chief versus the Final Boss next year, man. That's what I want to see.
That's a possibility, man.
It's going down.
I can't wait to meet y'all, man. It's like I've only met Breaker for a handful at that camp we talked about, and just actually seeing y'all and giving Jeff a massive bear hug, you know.
I want my spine broken.
Yeah.
What's Odyssey Jones doing to Jeff?
I mean, really, it's weird. Like, who else can I say this with? For 8 years now, I've listened to you guys at minimum weekly.
Yeah,
like, I have not missed a show since I discovered you guys.
Yeah,
thanks,
and I
dude.
listen to you guys at the latest on Monday when your show drops on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would love to meet you guys and meet everybody else. So, like, I hope that does happen, and I'll try to make it work.
Yeah,
that's part of the appeal of the Fig Life meetup is just everybody just getting together. You know, it's a couple of hours between. You know, this year we did it between WrestleCon and SmackDown,
right?
Yeah,
and just everybody able to just relax for a little bit, play some games, interact. You know, everybody had a blast at it, and that's the best part about it is just everybody being able to interact with people that, like you said, have been just talking to each other for nearly a decade now that had never met before, or in some cases, some people that didn't know that the other person listened to us, and they used to go to independent shows, and next thing you know, they're meeting back up at our meetup.
Exactly.
It's the craziest things, and we definitely want to meet you guys because, like,
for sure.
You know, we've met so many people, and it's like, okay, who do we have left on our bucket list?
We've got a short list.
Yeah, exactly.
It was gonna happen a couple of years ago when I was gonna remember I told you I was my wife's best friend lived in San Francisco, and it was right before COVID, and I was like, man, and we were talking. I was like, if I come out there, could you pick me up and just, you know, show me around? I don't know, like, because I don't want to. I'm sure they're going to be doing something I have no interest in doing, you know. So, but if that ever happens, though, even if we come to the Bay Area, that'd be nice, you know. Just you know, how far are you away from the Bay Area, Scott?
About 45 minutes.
Well, that's not bad.
So, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
I'm literally 10 minutes away, dude.
Yeah, he's in the heart of the Bay Area. So he's driving distance to Oakland or San Francisco.
Yeah, nice. I've been waiting. Like, and Philly was supposed to happen for me, and it was like a last minute. We couldn't pull it together for some reason. But Vegas definitely, yes, I want to be there, and I want to meet you guys and everything. You know?
Just an FYI, Scott might get you guys drunk.
It might happen.
I'm in.
Yeah,
let's go.
The whiskey flows at the meetups.
And then it ends into me and a Breaker and arm wrestling match in the middle of the bar.
I love it. And Jason Wolf is going to be there too, I'm pretty sure.
That would be great, you know, because I mean, he's done work for me and different things like that. So to actually meet him in person, you know, stuff. Yeah, it's just crazy how this community in general has been like where you could talk to somebody. I could text you, and I've never really formally met you face to face. You know what I mean? But like, it's just a cool community. And how me and Chad randomly met at a Target, right?
We met at a Target, and you guys were a leverage. It was, do you listen to Fullyposeable?
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's so cool. Like, it really is a thing. Like, to honestly put you guys over, like, you guys completely changed the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
you don't stop.
Honestly, you really did change the game. And like, when we meet other collectors, we ask them that one of the first things, do you listen to Fullyposeable? If not, you should. And oftentimes, yes, we are. And it's so I mean, the stuff you guys have built, and to see where it is now 8 years later with the other podcasts in the game as well. And I love it, man.
You guys should give yourself a pat, because I mean, you guys literally, who would have thought that listening to wrestling figures every week, you know, like listening to two brothers, which I have a younger brother myself, talk about wrestling figures every week. It's really cool. Yeah. You know, and I mean, of course, I listen to the other majors and like all the other, like more so just the majors. That's the other one that I know I listen to on the regular. But you guys are like literally the ones who thought that having this idea of just talking about old times and figures has locked us in for almost a decade now. So
that's
Thank
much
you guys.
That's much appreciated, you guys. We greatly appreciate that. And
sure.
To throw it back on you guys, you guys have been there since, I hate to steal a line from the Usos, but from day one, and you guys have literally been in our corners. You guys have texted us and, you guys do mean a lot to us. And as I was saying earlier, you guys are like the last people that we want to meet. You guys are on our bucket list to meet. So, that's why we love to get you to Vegas, same.
It's going, I think
it's likewise, Jeff. It's likewise, Scott. We really want to meet you as well.
I think it's gonna, if it's in my will, because I'm going to, fingers crossed, everything should be looking good for SummerSlam here in a couple of weeks,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
that's right. You got tickets for
Cleveland.
that. Yep, that's right.
6 hours from them, so I think WrestleMania, I've never been to a WrestleMania, so that I wanted LA, but that didn't, for some reason, didn't happen. So it's just like, I hope that next year is the year,
Yeah. Well, Vegas is a party for sure, man.
Yeah.
Check out our buddy over at Wrestling Toy Tracker, where he does the card and loose prices of LJNs, Galoobs, Hasbros, Just Toys, Bendham's, Defining Moments, and Retros. Also, check out the Rumble Wheel with Breaker and Daniel Cross. What do you guys think of Maximum Sweat?
Terrible.
That's what I thought too.
I'm on Team Jeff.
I would
collected then, and they're up there with the vibrators. Okay, all right.
I bombed that debate with Daniel Cross. I bombed it like worse than Joe Biden, dude.
Well, Jeff, I was wearing my war paint with you, man. I was behind the lines with you, buddy.
But I didn't even need to try hard. I was like, was this really a debate?
It's like. But one thing y'all were saying in the debate, I never really peeped that it was actually supposed to be blood, not sweat. And I'm like, what the heck is that instead?
Yeah.
But they still were terrible figures. They look terrible. Like it's just versus LJN, which is getting recreated in one of the coolest lines. I mean, I can see somebody revisiting Maximum Sweat, but that's
I don't know,
right.
Man. People
everything gets revisited, but I don't see it being successful. And I could be eating my words and eating crow.
Well, no, people like money. That's why they.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to put that out. They like money.
Exactly.
Do we see Maximum Sweat or vibrating figures first?
Neither.
Who's gonna jump into which lane?
Vibrating big rubber guys.
I love it.
That's sweat.
Also, check out the TB Toycast. Scott, do you want to take a guess of what we talked about on TB Toycast this past? Actually, you'll never guess it. We talked
Silverhawks.
No, we did not talk about Silverhawks. No, we talked about a line called Savage Dragon, and we had Richard Yule on.
I remember that line.
You do?
Yep. KB Toys had that one. I remember every time I went into KB Toys down the boy aisle, Savage Dragon was sitting there next to like the Wildcats figures and Spawn.
Okay, yeah. Well, the Spawn did come out with some of those later on. But anyways, yeah, we talked about those. But it was actually really interesting because Travis and Richard were able to go back and forth talking about Savage Dragon. So it was actually really interesting.
That's another one, man. I really do tune into you guys. Like, I don't comment as much on it, but I listen to and it's fun taking that ride back down with you guys.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, so like that's you guys have a very good combination too, you and Breaker. It's very
it's just easy going with that guy all the time. Easy, easy to talk to, just stuff like that. So
he's the kinder brother you always wanted.
Exactly. I would still make that trade. Breaker,
nice.
Breaker for Scott and cash. That's all.
And cash, yeah.
And cash. I want cash.
Maybe a player to be named later. We don't know.
A brother to be named later.
Right.
Check out the PPW podcast. Check out the Stolen Gimmicks. We got Joe and Jordan coming on next week, Scott, from the Stolen Gimmicks.
Can't wait.
So we got another 2-man booth.
I like it.
Got more hunk of meat coming in. Check out In the Marbles Pod, NASCAR podcast. Brian doing the Legendary Wrestling Figures podcast. Work the Arm with Jeff and Jamie. Jeff's coming on too in August, Scott. So be prepared for that.
All right.
Pod subject to change. Trivia with Buds. RJ at Ringside Rant. Boot to the Face. pulling up a chair with Tim and the Fig Life, and Marty and Sarah love wrestling. Scott, roll call.
Yep, gonna throw it out too. Previously mentioned, Jason Wolf will most likely be in Vegas. I got to touch base with him just to make sure. But Jason Wolf, if you need artwork, if you need custom figures, Jason is your guy. He's got his chop shop going. Check out his social medias, The Art of Jason Wolf, and of course the great Steve Hoker on TeePublic at Starman NJ. All of his proceeds every single month go to a different charity because that's just the kind of guy Steve Hoker is. He's incredible. TeePublic. Store name Starman NJ. And Jeff, that rounds out roll call.
Keith and Chad, let's not wait 2 years. Let's do this again soon, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was fun. Thank you so much for having us. We know there's probably a lot of people that want to be on, and there's only so many weeks in a year and a month. So thank you so much for having us, and we really appreciate it.
The pleasure is y'all's. Now that was heel Baraukus right there. You see how quick I turned down.
I liked it.
It's all part of your psychology. I get it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it, guys. It's always great talking to y'all. Y'all remind me of me and my little brother. You know, a little douche, but like, yeah, like
something about little brothers that are douches. I get it.
I'm the youngest of 6.
Yeah.
See, Chad, that's why we connect so well, dude. Yeah. We're right here.
No, legit. Thank you guys, and anybody out there, just I enjoy everybody that you've had on so far. So
thank you, man. Well, we got more guests to come for the Summer of Saying Do Love, but until next week, Scott, for episode 400 and what episode? 42. Anything
42,
else?
I think.
Yeah, it's 42.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Fig Life since 2016. Keith, Chad, thank you guys so much for being on. I can't wait to see you guys at the Fig Life meetup in Vegas 2025, and happy toy hunting.
If you guys are going to Vegas, we're going to do another roundtable just like this again prior to WrestleMania.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Just hit me up because sometimes I forget. I'm old. That's fine. So it happens. You walk into another room and you forget why you walked in there for some reason. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for listening to episode 442. # Fig Life. Adios.
Yeah. Fullyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring. But we don't take it out the box, MOC. Happy toy hunting, we'll see you next week. We're the OGs of WFP. Fullyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. # Fig Life, adios from the Kings.